What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, we give our takes on AEW. It is Monday night, August 28th, 2023, and I had zero intentions of filming a video today. Just taking the day to relax, go to work, chill, play some Madden, and all day today, that entire timeline has been filled with CM Punk and Jack Perry. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I don't even want to do this video, but there's some information to unfold. I don't even know if half the stuff's true. There's been about 55,000 reports that came out about this incident. I'm not even going to be here for a long time. I don't even care about this, but it's all everybody's talking about on the timeline right now, and there's stuff to talk about, but we're going to get into it. Both guys apparently got some trouble. We'll talk about that. But before we get into anything, man, I just want to say thank you guys for everyone who tuned in to the All-In review yesterday here on the Big Fight Field channel. It was one of my favorite reviews that I've ever done on the channel with Cameron Johnson and Wesley Williams. We talked for nearly 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes, about the All-In show yesterday at Wembley Stadium in London, England. Absolutely, it's an unbelievable show. The best AEW show to date, one of the best wrestling shows I've ever seen in my life. If you haven't already seen the review, go ahead and check it out. If you have the time. It's a long podcast, so, I mean, if you're at work and you got nothing else going on, pop in the headphones, listen to the podcast. Would greatly appreciate that. But if you don't have 2 hours to spam, I completely understand that. It's no big deal. But if you have the time, please go and check it out. And that is my leeway right into this, right? Yesterday, we had the biggest pro wrestling show ever. The most paid attendance in wrestling history, 81,035, which, by the way, I love how TK said there was 90,000 there was about 90,000 people in the venue with security guards and ticket ushers and staff and concession stand workers, but he said the number that he's dying on is 81,035. And I think that's a shot at WWE, because WWE loves to lie about their attendance, man. They went out there at WrestleMania 32 and they said 101,000 people, which wasn't even close to that number. Vince McMahon even came out and said that number was bullshit, because we counted people that were parking staff, ticket ushers, security. They counted everybody in that building. And Tony Khan lived on that number, and I felt like that was a shot at WWE, and it's deserved, because the man made history getting that many people as a 5-year-old company, getting that many people in a stadium as large as Wembley. So, shout out to him. But the point of the fact is, we had one of the biggest pro wrestling shows ever, maybe the biggest, highest paid attendance of all time, best AEW show votes of all time. Every match was very good. Every single match on that show they didn't have a bad match on that show. Yet, the only thing, the entire timeline tonight today is filled up with CM Punk and Jack Perry. And I don't know how this is getting leaked, but this is what I'll say. And I want to talk about this first before I get into the whole story. A slogan that Tony Khan mentioned in the media scrum yesterday after the show was "For the love of the game," and I have no doubt in my mind that there are the wrestlers. Wrestlers love professional wrestling. The AEW locker room, no matter if they don't get along, if they get along, they go out there and they put out the best fucking wrestling shows of the entire year. That's what these pay-per-views do. These pay-per-views are absolute bangers by AEW, and Tony Khan has earned the slogan of Mr. Pay-per-view because he's put out more banger pay-per-views than he has duds. But we have all of this, and everybody goes out and everybody's talking about CM Punk and Jack Perry. There are people who work in AEW who clearly don't do this for the love of the game. They go out there and they work and they only do it for money, and they do it to get into the politics side of it and start drama. Clearly, someone is feeding this bullshit to the wrestling media, and the wrestling media is taking it and they're running with it so that they can get clicks and likes and views for their websites. So we don't know if the people that are leaking it are even lying. If the media gets told something, they're going to report it because they need it for their website. They need engagement for their shitty website. So people like PW Torch that are reporting stuff, you don't believe them all the time because they've been wrong a lot. They've been right, but they've been wrong on a lot of information as well, and they only do it to get the clicks and the views for their website because they need the engagement. And whoever is spreading this, whether it's true information or it's false information, whoever's deciding to go into business for themselves and spread all this out to the wrestling media, Tony Khan needs to fire their ass. Because clearly they're not doing it for the love of the company. They're not doing it for the love of professional wrestling. They're doing it for the fucking money, and they're doing it for backstage politicking. And that bullshit needs to stop. So whoever's leaking all this information to the wrestling media, Tony Khan should be fired. Now, the wrestling media has influenced the wrestling community so bad that it's so upsetting, man. The wrestling media has influenced the wrestling community so bad that no one cares what's going on in the wrestling ring, in AEW, and in WWE too. No one cares what's going on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, whenever WWE and AEW are putting on shows. They now care more about what's going on backstage. What are the ratings that Dynamite's getting? What are the ratings Collision's making? So I can go make fun of it. How bad are the ticket sales going? How good are the ticket sales going? Oh, can AEW sell out a stadium in America? Oh, there's so many empty seats in Wembley. Ha ha ha. All these people want to do now is they want to push the goalposts back, and they want to push it back and back and back and back because they just can't get enough of it. They can't be fully satisfied. They can't sit back and be like, wow, what we're seeing on TV is some good stuff right now. I'm excited for the pay-per-view. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next week. Everybody's worried about ratings. Everybody's worried about attendance. Everybody's worried about what's going on backstage. And that's all because of the wrestling media. And their influence is fucking terrible. and we're trying to watch the biggest wrestling show of the entire year, of all time, and an hour into the show, we've already got reports going out with CM Punk and Jack Perry fighting backstage. I mean, it is fucking sickening. And wrestlers are tweeting stuff out. And the best tweet that I saw today was from Santana, from Proud and Powerful. He tweeted this out about 4 hours ago, and he said, "Who gives a damn about who fought with who? Stop allowing that to drown out the fact that pro wrestling had one of the most amazing days ever. Grow the fuck up." And instead of celebrating the fact that we just had one of the biggest wrestling shows of all time in front of over 80,000 people, 81,000 people at Wembley Stadium, you know what they're worried about? Shit like this. Because that's all everyone has decided to talk about today. Oh shit. 5,500 reports are coming out about CM Punk and Jack Perry. That's all the timeline's been today. And it's fucking disgusting. I saw another tweet that popped that opened my eyes as well. And I absolutely agree with it. And I'll give this person a shout out. I don't have them followed. I'm going to follow them. This account on Twitter, Keems Wins Again, tweeted out, "People are trying to will this into being Brawl Out 2, and I'm sorry, but it's not hitting the same at all. It's certainly not overshadowing last night either. Time for a new script. As I said yesterday, the majority of us do not care other than some jokes. People are trying to blow this so out of proportion. It is disgusting. Fans, the media, blowing it out of the water is fucking disgusting. And listen, most people in the wrestling community, they don't have normal daily lives. And they have time to sit on the internet all day long and complain about this and complain about that. While you have people like me who have a job and it's about to go to school 4 days a week. I don't have time for this bullshit, man. I don't care about what's going on backstage, who's fighting with who said what, who got kicked out of the building, who got told not to come to the arena. I don't have time for that, man. All I care about is what's going on in the ring, what's going on every single week, what storylines are the wrestlers trying to tell, and what's going to be leading into the pay-per-view that they're building to. That's what I care about as a fan. I don't care about backstage politics. I don't care about TV ratings. You know what I care about? I care about good television. I care about good wrestling. And I care about good stories. That's what I care about. Sorry about my little rant right there. I'm all riled up about the situation. I fucking hate it, man. I hate it as a wrestling fan. Now, I don't know how many stories are true that came out today. I'm not going to believe much. The first one that I have right here started way before the event. This actually took place Saturday morning, the day before All In. When CM Punk landed at Heathrow Airport for All In on Saturday morning, no one from AEW was waiting to greet him with a car service to take him to the hotel. Punk texted the number he was given by AEW for the driver, and it bounced back. Punk decided to buy a train ticket and find his own way to his hotel. In the process, he got lost, and some fans had to help Punk on his way. That was reported by Nick Hausman. I don't know how true that is. I know that if it's true, that's pretty fucked up. I don't think that's Tony Khan at all. Tony Khan has no business in it. Tony Khan is probably trying to book the show, the results for the show, what's going to happen the day before it happens. I'm sure that there's a transportation team that takes care of the wrestlers, and in this situation, they were fucking careless. And if this is true, again, I'm not believing everything on the internet. That's the problem with the wrestling community, too. Every fucking article they read, they think it's true, and they take with it, and they run with it. So if this is true, that's disgusting. There's no way to treat one of the top stars in your company like that, to give him a fake phone number, to not greet him when he gets to the airport, to not drive him to the hotel. He's got to pay for his own taxi to go to the fucking hotel, and the guy gets lost. If that story's true, shame on AEW, shame on the transportation team at AEW, because that's fucking bullshit. And Punk should not have to go through that whatsoever. Now we know most of the stuff happened with CM Punk and Jack Perry. This is one from PW Insider. I'm not sure if I believe this. It says several people in AEW, wrestlers and people in other roles, are frustrated with the fact that being behind the scenes incident with CM Punk once again distracted from what they did for what they are touting as an excellent show and a high point in AEW's history. I don't believe that at all, because no one was talking about CM Punk and Jack Perry until today. All of a sudden, all the news came out with CM Punk and Jack Perry, which, again, I'm going to reiterate this. I don't think CM Punk is the bad guy in this. I don't think Phil is the bad guy. If Jack Perry didn't go on camera on live pay-per-view in a crowd in front of 81,000 people where they're making history, they're making pro wrestling history, if he didn't go on camera and say, this is real glass, cry me a river, I don't think any of this shit would have happened. So Jack Perry, he went into business for himself. He acted like a fucking asshole, and he's the one who should be getting punished. Now, the problem with Punk here is he's got to take this in a different direction. I know he gave the advice to Jack Perry. He's like, hey, I don't think using glass is a good thing. That's not safe. I want you to be safe. And I don't want you to go out there and hurt yourself from a stupid move. So that's acceptable. Punk being a locker room leader, looking out for the younger talent, be like, hey, I don't think you should do this. That's not good for your health. It's a stupid spot. Let's think about not doing that. And Jack Perry didn't agree with him, and he went into business for himself, and he made a mockery of it on pay-per-view. The problem with Punk is Punk doesn't handle business in the right way. If that happened to me, I would have been like, hey, I don't want to take care of this asshole. Whenever you get a chance, can you sit him down, have a discussion with him before I do? I don't want to have to fight him on my own terms. I want you to sit down and have a conversation when you have the chance. I would have not went out and choked him. But apparently it was Jack Perry who started everything. If I can find the report, I can't find it. Hold on. Yeah, Jack Perry, he bumped into Punk first, and he got up on his face, and Punk finished it with choking out Jack Perry. He's got to take care of business better. That's all I'm saying. He can't get offended when someone doesn't agree with him. Not everybody is going to agree with what you think. Do I think that he made a good suggestion? Yes. But I don't think that that he took it in the right way, because what happens when the next person doesn't agree with what Punk says? What happens if someone like Darby Allin doesn't agree with Punk's suggests, or someone like John Moxley doesn't agree with what Punk suggests? That's a bad example. Someone like Hook. Is CM Punk going to beat up all the young talent backstage? Is CM Punk going to take out his aggression in fighting his co-workers? Because that's not a good way to go about business. Again, Jack Perry started all of this. If he didn't go on camera and did what he did in front of a live crowd, none of this would have happened. But Jack Perry went into business for himself. Jack Perry did an asshole, was being an asshole, and he faced the consequences because he had to knew something was going to happen when he got backstage. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Tony Khan has some balls, man. TK has balls because with the match order, Jack Perry was the last match on 0 Out. After that was going to be CM Punk and Samoa Joe starting the show. Then following CM Punk was going to be the 6-man match with the Elite, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. So you had to know, you had to figure that they're all going to cross paths right before their match. I don't know, man. Tony Khan's got some balls. But the last thing I'm going to say about this is a report from Brian Alvarez. And Brian Alvarez, Wrestling Observer, mostly, they are accurate with their reports. I guess we will find out if this is true. Coming up on AEW television this week, we have Dynamite Wednesday and Collision Saturday before the pay-per-view on Sunday, so we'll see if this is true. But according to Brian Alvarez, the belief within AEW is that CM Punk and Jack Perry are both suspended pending the results of an investigation. As a result, neither will work at the All Out pay-per-view this weekend. That's coming from Brian Alvarez. Now, Jack Perry, he just lost the FTW Championship to Hook. I don't know what direction he would have going into All Out with 1 week to go. I guess another match with Hook, but I'm not really sure. I don't think he would have been a part of the pay-per-view. So that's not the big issue here. The big issue, the real big issue, is Punk. You have AEW's in Chicago all week. They're in Chicago for Wednesday, they're in Chicago for Saturday, they're in Chicago for StarCast, and they're in Chicago for All Out on Sunday night. So, and I think Punk was absolutely going to play a key role in that show. I even went out yesterday and said I could see the main event being CM Punk versus Ricky Starks for the Real World Championship, with some stipulation in there for their third and final match. Because I thought that was what they were building to. Ricky Starks' suspension on TV is coming to an end, and I thought that it was going to lead to a match at All Out between CM Punk and Ricky Starks. And now CM Punk is more than likely not going to be on the show in front of his hometown, and you can imagine the Chicago fans are going to be very pissed off because they don't get to see their hometown guy on pay-per-view at all. And I would be fucking bummed too, man. And I'm pretty sure if that report is true, that's going to fuck up a lot of plans for what Tony Khan had all out on Sunday. But CM Punk went about business the wrong way, in my opinion. And Jack Perry, he's the one who started all this. If he didn't say what he did on camera, none of this would have happened. You know, I love Punk. I love Punk to death. He's my favorite wrestler in the world. He is outstanding when he is on television, on Collision, on pay-per-view. He's amazing. Really good match with Samoa Joe yesterday. He's the most polarizing star in the business right now. The most polarizing active wrestler in the business right now. But what's overshadowing him is his backstage. Not everyone is going to agree with what he suggests, and he's got to go into it with a better way. He can't be wanting to pick fights with everybody backstage because, number one, if all this is true, which Tony Khan confirmed it's true, so this is a true story. Whether the reports that came out today are true or not, I don't know, but he's got to take care of business the right way. He can't be wanting to pick fights with everybody because that is going to create a super toxic environment in AEW. And we don't want that when the product is fucking white hot right now, coming out of the biggest wrestling show of all time. AEW is white hot right now. Coming out of All Out, coming out of All In, and going into All Out. The company is white hot. And you don't want that distraction of we have backstage fights. Again, first incident, Hangman Page went into business for himself, cutting a promo on Dynamite. Second incident, brawl out with the Elite. That one, I will say, was started by CM Punk. He didn't have to go in the scrum and say what he said. He could have done it in a professional manner backstage with the Elite. And now this with Jack Perry, which, again, Jack Perry went into business for himself, and Jack Perry started all this. So, we'll see what other reports come out of this situation. I'm not sure if I'm going to be filming a video tomorrow or not. I have to work tomorrow. The only with the 53-man roster coming out for the Dolphins, the only way I will make a video tomorrow is if Jonathan Taylor gets traded to the Dolphins. If nothing happens tomorrow with Jonathan Taylor and by 4 o'clock he's still in the Colts, then I'm taking the day off because I got an 8-hour shift tomorrow at work. But I will be back. Guaranteed that I will be here Wednesday night talking about Dynamite. We have the Fallout from All In, and we have the Go Home show for All Out. So it should be fucking chaos on Wednesday night. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. And for the new subscribers here on the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content here on the Big Fight Field channel. Comment down below your thoughts. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And whether it's tomorrow with the Dolphins or Wednesday with AEW Dynamite, I will see you in the next video. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.